Adelaide may establish, for those of you who have not had the pleasure of having her as a teacher. She is the director of the Centre of English Studies, and so it gives me great honor that she is here today to tell you a little bit about the Centre of English Studies, because most of you will be finishing your degree courses soon, and who knows, you may be interested in pursuing further studies, in pursuing post-graduations, and who knows, even a master's or a PhD degree. And in that case, perhaps you don't know, but we also do a lot of research at the School of Arts and Humanities. And in particular, the research center that I'm very happy to belong to, the Centre of English Studies, and that has Professor Adelaide as its head at the moment, is a very dynamic center, and we are always interested in welcoming students who want to continue their studies. And before we introduce our guest speaker and artist today, whom we are very honored and pleased to have, and thank you for having accepted this invitation. Professor Adelaide will open the event, and then I will leave it to Ekaterina, Dimitra, and Evelyn, who have organized this event so well. Thank you.
So, good morning. It is a pleasure to be here, and I thank Paula's words on behalf of the center. Our unit is actually doing research in different fields within the scope of English studies, broadly speaking. When I say English studies, it means English, American, Australian, New Zealand, Ireland, you name it. So everywhere when there is an Anglophone route or trend in somehow, then it is our job to pursue these studies. We divide our studies into 6 groups, focused respectively on literature, culture, linguistics, translation and reception studies, American studies specifically, and precisely the group to which Paula belongs, other literatures in English, that is besides the traditional more strict notion of literature. These groups, however, do not act alone. We have many intersectional projects joining more than one group, and also inviting or being invited by international entities, or, as is the case, artists, experts in different fields. Because one of the fields that we have been pursuing lately is precisely the inter-arts domain. So the relationships between literature and culture with performative and the audiovisual arts in many of their forms, and it's quite enriching because it brings us a whole different notion, I would say a more holistic notion of things in this world of ours that sometimes seems so broad and other times it's so tiny and so much put together. And so it is a pleasure to be here today, and I would like very much to thank and welcome our guests today here. Please, you will have to excuse me because precisely because of the dynamics, the current dynamics of the center, today we are holding 3 conferences, yours and 2 more. So as we see, we do not stop. We aim to cover different fields, and and this is one of these days. And this is a very good, although very challenging too, because we try to face any challenge, any new path of exploration and of research. And I'm very glad to see so many young faces here. And as Paula highlighted, we do research in our center, research that help us in our teaching duties, of course, because we are simultaneously researchers and lecturers in different fields, of course, within the major field like English studies. But it's also there is also a via of connection with MA and PhD programs, especially the modern literatures, arts and cultures, and the studies of culture. We also have connections with the translation studies program and with the performative arts program. So, as you see, we try to be as open as possible to any possibilities of development and of going further and upgrading and updating our knowledge with all your help, of course. So thank you to be with us today, and I hope that you will have a very enjoyable and challenging session. I'm sure of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Just before we do start with the introduction to Aleksei Gribel today, I do want to tell you a little bit about the research project that I belong to, which is titled Representations of Home in Literatures and Cultures in English. And it is in this regard, representations of home, that I found it so interesting that we have a Russian artist living in Portugal now, and that he has found a home, and hopefully that he feels at home in Portugal, in Lisbon, where he has been living. And that is why today's session is called Finding a Home for Art as well. So not only finding a home for the artist, but for his artwork in Lisbon. And how has Lisbon welcomed him as a foreigner, but also what has been the reception to his art in Lisbon. So this is what we want to explore today, and this is what Ekaterina, Dimitra and Evelyn will be exploring with Aleksei. Thank you. So the floor is yours. So I think just because it will be easier.
So hi all, my name is Ekaterina. This is my colleagues Evelyn and Dimitra, and of course our special guest Aleksei Gribel, whom we will introduce in more detail a little bit later. Thank you for being here today. And I'll tell you a little bit about why we are here in this composition. We are truly international students, international group of students, and we are all three of us from different countries. Therefore, it was particularly interesting for us to work together, realizing how diverse our cultural traditions and overall backgrounds are. So we are immigrants of a new generation. For us, the theme of home has always been especially significant. And we know what it means to feel that home becomes something distant. But at the same time, understand that this is not always something bad. In the modern world, the concept of home becomes flexible, expanding beyond physical walls. Home is where we are. Today, we want to show how creativity can echo the ideas about home. And we are delighted to introduce you a person whose creativity resonates with our ideas.
So, my name is
you want to move up? Yeah, because I will sit here.
So, a few words about our artist. Aleksei Gribel is a young, independent, multidisciplinary Russian artist and sculptor who graduated from college as a master artist in batik and tapestry in Saratov, Russia, who then tried to work in that field until the end of 2012. In 2013, he moved to St. Petersburg, immersing himself in diverse creative pursuits and refining his skills. By the end of 2013, Aleksei embarked on a path of self-education through hands-on experience and practice in the realm of construction and form manipulation. In 2015, Gribel joined the Interior Theatre as a decoration creator, gaining valuable insights into design and self-expression. Transitioning to freelance work by late 2015, he focused on crafting sculptures, decorations, and props on commission. Just to talk about the artwork that you see in the presentation right now, this is called the Tree of Dreams. This was his first large-scale art object and was presented at Gamma Festival in 2016. So from 2017 onwards, Aleksei has ventured into the realm of street sculptures and installations, leveraging his accumulated artistic experience across various mediums. He continues to actively participate in street art endeavors to this day. With an extensive portfolio, Gribel has participated in numerous collective exhibitions and held a significant solo exhibition showcasing his decade-long artistic journey. And about the artwork that you see now, it's called Dish of the Day. The sculpture was created for the charity auction 25.1, organized by the art group Veha. The work is now in a private collection in the USA. So, Katerina, do you want to play some questions?
Yeah.
No?
So, we are going to start our interview. And the first question for Alex is, can you tell us a little bit where are you from and where does the art journey start for you?
Journey to here or journey in art?
How you can understand this question?
Okay. Actually, I'm from Russia. I was born in the small town of Saratov. My grandfather often going with me in the forest and explain me about the many plants and nature and animals, show me the world around me. And he's like to carving on the wood, and it was my first experience of craft and art in my life. And after the school, I decided to be an artist and grow like a creative person. But I didn't understand what I want to do. I just love to make art. And in the 14th year, I understand what I'd like to feel the shapes, and I understand the shapes with my fingers. But I still can't drawing like sculptures with standard education. They can draw and fill shapes, but I can only fill shapes like intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And why did you choose Lisbon as a home for your art?
Actually, when the war started, when my country started the war against Ukraine, I and my wife decided to go away from Russia. It was last after that, I understand what my country is. Doesn't matter for the people inside the country or anything else around us. And I didn't want to live in the place so aggressive. And if I can change it, I want to bring my ideas for the stable future in the land where it will be more useful and более полезно, more good. And we started to choose the country where we can go, and we decided to go in Europe Union and choosing the Portugal before the good climate, before the easy to have a residence. But when we arrived here, I understand what it was the best choice in my life, and I love the Portugal all my heart every day, more and more and more. At first it was a cold choice, but when I had here, I understand what it's a perfect choice in my life, and I love to explore the culture here.
Thank you. Dimitar? Evelyn?
Yeah, so, no, it's okay. I was wondering if there are any artist styles or visual references that you draw inspiration from. Do you have any specific artists that inspire you?
Yeah, I'd like the Heinz Giger, Biksinski, Thomas Barcelo Castello. It's a perfect contemporary sculpture in Spain now. And also architecture Zaha Hadid. This is a woman architecture from Iran, which studied in London and made novator. She was a novator in the bionic architecture, and I taken the worldwide experience in this and trying to make my philosophy from this art.
We see that many of your works are united by a similar style. Can you somehow describe the genre of your works?
I think it means bionic style or bionic futurism. I'm often use the roots in my art, and for me this is a foundation of everything. Roots, this is a foundation of family. Roots, this is foundation of trees and plants and mushrooms too, like mycelium. This is something what connected everything and everyone between each other, and because this is started to be my style.
So bionics, we can stop. So the term bionics was introduced in the middle of 20th century to apply the findings of biological research in technical fields such as architecture or industrial design and some material sciences. Bionics can be found in sculpture, as we see, and painting, in digital art, and some mixed media arts. Often explores themes related to evolution, symbiosis, and the relationships between humans and technologies.
because of your inspiration, your work also falls into the magical realism, which essentially is a genre of visual art that blends realistic depictions of the everyday world with elements of fantasy and the supernatural. It originated in the early 20th century and is often associated with Latin American literature, and it has also found expression in visual arts globally. Some of the key characteristics of this genre includes merging of real and unreal, detailed realism, ambiguous atmosphere, cultural and social commentary, and narrative suggestiveness. Some of the most prominent artists associated with this would be the Mexican painting Frida Kahlo, which we talked about a lot in class, known for her precise and realistic depictions of everyday objects in dreamlike context. We also have one by Leonora Carrington, which is, I think, at the Christie's, which is a great example of this magical realism. So you can see how it fits into Alexei's work. Next, we have deconstructivism, which he talked about Zaha Hadid, which is one of the most prominent figures of this movement. It is, well, originally an architectural and artistic movement that also emerged in the late 20th century as a response to a departure from traditional principles of design and structure. It, as I said, originated in architecture, and it subsequently influenced various visual arts, including sculpture and visual installations. The movement is characterized by a fragmentation of form, the manipulation of structure, as you can see, of the building with the use of curves and shapes. And it also has a focus on disorientation and unpredictability. Some of the key features are the ones that I said, also emphasis on process and construction and conceptual depth. And as I mentioned, one of the most prominent figures is Zaha Hadid, who designed the London Aquatic Centre in 2011.
Okay, now I want to place some questions to you. So, first of all, how did you imagine your work in the beginning? Like when you started creating art, what did you originally want to create? What was your dream? What was your goals, maybe?
First time I started to make the artwork with ideas from my reflection about the relationships between the people, about the problem of society, about my dreams and understanding the world. But in the 90th years, I started to explore of what the art of the future will be. For example, cyberpunk showed us high technologies, low life, but where is art there? All looks like iPhone. And I started to think what the future we will lead and how it can be. And I like the biotechnologies, and I started to imagine what it can be, how it can work, and not all my works about reflection. Foundation of style. This is my philosophy about the beyond future, about what the bioengineering can make with us, like humanity.
Okay, so when you're creating an artwork, I personally find really interesting the names that you give to the artworks. How are they coming up to your mind? How are you naming your artworks?
Sometimes names before the art, sometimes names after. And for me, important to find the short and more bright things for the name. For be understandable to citers, for the audience.
Okay, so sometimes you start with the name and then you create the art, and
Yeah.
sometimes you create the art and then you name it.
Yes, because
And what about this art project? Проект, расскажи, как название.
okay. For example, this artwork on side you born when I'm walking in Russia and looking on the wall. When was a big hole, and in this hole without ground, born the plants and they's grown there. And this time I'm mainly thinking about where is my home now, where is home the people around me, because in Russia many people from many countries, from India, Pakistan, Mozambique, Angola and others, Russian and Ukrainian groups too, and all these people coming here. Some the reasons, I don't know the reasons why they going here. It's different for everyone, but every person understanding where his home, and it's important for everyone. And I agree the home where I am, and he's inside me, and I need to express it for in the art and try to explain it for other people, which may be confusing in this situation, in this moment, and maybe my art suffer someone.
Okay, so does every artwork of yours has a story behind it? Like every single of your artworks has a special story, you made it for some reason, or there are artworks that you just do for fun maybe, or because you find them aesthetically pleasing?
Actually stories every time, but sometimes it's fun story, sometimes I made artwork for like joke, but previously it was a story and I tried to explain it in the artwork. For example, in St. Petersburg I made a sculpture with the head of bird, but with weird like hooligans, Russian hooligans, and it was gargoyle. Gargoyle. It was gargoyle, but in Russian play of words gopgulia, because Russian hooligans it's gopniki, and gop gargoyles listening slugs gulia. It's name of any birds,
Okay.
and we made a gopgulia in the dark street, because at night their place had many hooligans, but at the day many grandmothers giving food for many pigeons.
Okay. was what materials do you use in general most of the times, and why these materials? Are they more easy for you to work with them? Are there materials that you find more difficult to work with? Talk about this if you want.
I started from the plaster because this is a classic material, and after that I started to add to this acrylic paint, epoxy resin, metal, wire, and welding too. When I so started, learning to use many materials, many techniques, and I have a big base. And in my works, I prefer to use technique to ideas. At first ideas, after that I'm choosing the technique for the for the maximum expression of this idea. But for the studio's works, I'm using the plaster and epoxy resin. I'm trying to use only this, but I'd like to mix many materials. Actually, yeah.
So you work with a lot of materials.
Yes, but now I'm trying to focus on the plaster, plaster with fabric, and welding with covering concrete.
Okay.
Concrete.
Okay. So my last question for now is, you are a freelance artist, right?
Yes.
What are the challenges and what are the benefits from this? Your difficulties and the benefits. What you find easy? For example, working on your own may have some good points and some bad points. What are those?
Good points for me was work with decorations and with props, because there I can practice and learning to new techniques in that time. If I can do it, all will be okay. I earn money and will be know something new. And I didn't have a chance to follow this project, and it was a very important. Okay, I'm sorry. It was a very important reason for me to grow every step.
Do you have the bad points maybe? Like what are your difficulties in this working alone? Just you and your art.
You don't have a more difficult. It's what you need every time to fight for yourself, for show what you worst for or worst something. Because without the diploma from university or many preference, with many achievements, without many achievements, you need to grow very hard and very long, and without connects with the right people. It was really long way.
Okay, but you don't have a manager or something, you're totally on your own, just exhibiting your art, but you don't have somebody to guide you on how to work.
I tried to work with some people, but not more easy, but more useful work alone. But last years I had big help and from my wife. She helped me to focus and helped me with my projects too. She likes to make art, and we made many street artworks together.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay. I think I'm done with the questions for now. Evelyn,
This is my
Yeah, so about the street artworks, you have a lot of it, and how do you think the street art impacts to the society?
When I started to make the street art, I started to understand how it's influence on the people. And for me, street art, this is suppose this is the case for. This is a way to express the problem of society whilst talking with the city and with people in this city. And if we if we can express ourselves in the city, city will be grateful for the citizens and can make them happy. Because more good to live in the beautiful people than in the sad and great. Like theory of broken windows. Yes. I'm exploring this theory to try this many times, and every time it's was permitted. Also, I think street art and urbanism can change the view of the cities for the citizens of the cities. And if the people start to understand when they can influence on his own place, they can be more active for his own. They can be made something for himself and for the people around.
Talking about this artwork, do you know if it's still alive?
Little bit.
How? It's destroyed?
Nail is broke, rope is broke, but hands is still here, is there.
Okay. And for the moment, how do you maintain the connections with your homeland? Do you maintain this connection with Russia, and is it important for you still now?
You mean about this artwork or
In general?
in general? I think I'm lost local context now, and I can't speak about the local content here because I'm not there. But I had many reflections about my life here, and I am trying to speaking on the street about it, and also the artwork. Oh, could you produce this? And when I read it here, I'm thinking what this is artwork. I can do it, handle myself. Will be better for the Lisbon too, because here is many abandoned houses too. symbol is useful.
So it's about the building.
About the work on the building. I put this plaster panel on the building with which need to repair, but government and people around don't need it. And building grow in the arms which repair themselves. And we put this panel on the many buildings in every district of Central St. Petersburg, and in the many cities in Russia the same. For example, in Nizhny Novgorod, my my own town, Saratov. Where is this? Воронеж, no, Perm and Kaluga, Almaty. It's this panel started to be my first way to fame. Many people know about me, about this work, and this artwork made a very big resonance in the society in St. Petersburg.
So, do you think your experience as an immigrant has it influenced your artistic journey and the themes that you explore in your work?
I was not ready for this, and I thought I will be speak more about the war, about trying to explain what is this of my country now for the people who not live there. But when I started to be immigrant, I had many problems, too much, and I understand what all words was said before me, and I didn't speak nothing new in this thing. And I'm started to understand what I feel. I need to express more passions what I feel in this moment, and I need to reproduce it for myself. And I started to make the street art like Home Inside You and There Will Be Tomorrow, and just for express my opinion, my passion. And I find the answer from the people who immigrants like me, and some people write me when they find my scene under the artwork.
So, so far, what do you think has been your biggest accomplishment in your art?
It's a difficult question because I live all my life in Russia, and I'm started from zero, and now I didn't have the big accomplishment in my art. All my artworks, what I not sell yet, stand with my friends in the St. Petersburg. And here, after 1 year, too soon to speak about my biggest accomplishment. I
Okay.
think I can
out for us.
Okay. Can we sit here or?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Oh,
whatever
no, you can move
comfortable.
around and
Yeah.
yes,
And
please
everyone
do.
can yeah.
And perhaps you can go and sit close by.
This works named morphogenesis. Morphogenesis, this is a combining of клетка забыл слово.
Cell.
Yeah, combining of cell when they started to have a form, make a form of bodies, for example. And I imagine in my first bionic artworks, I started to imagine the liquid liquid bioengineering system when they work like 3D printer, but from the many gems. You can put the shape through like a 3D model, and this liquid started to be grow, but like they want. And this is can be connection between the new technologies with AI and real art of the person which imagined it. And my morphogenesis started to be looks like the woman's body, but if we rotate it, it started to be looks like octopus maybe or another, and I tried to show like the technologies of future can be changed of art, and art can be changed the biotechnologies of future. Like science art now, I'm trying to look in the future and imagine how it can be art of the future. It's just a sketch maybe, but I hope in the future some scientist can look on my artworks and thinking, why not? We can do it. We really can make the liquid nanotechnologies bionic structure and educate it how to grow like we need. And I hope it can be useless or useful for the humanity in the future and for sustainable growth.
What is it made of?
This work made from the plaster and textile bandages. I started from the put the liquid plaster with the plaster bandages on the bodies of my lovely wife, and I'm using a living model for the show. The beautiful lines of body. For the beautiful lines of body, and but without sexual context, just showing what the shapes of the body. It's so easy and beautiful, like living nature. For me, it is.
And thank you for answering our questions. You can sit down.
So now we would like to talk about why we chose this topic and this artist, of course. I think Aleksei represents artists that, he's an artist that he came from another country, and so we were inspired by him to talk about the theme of home in general. As we said before, the three of us are also foreign students, so we chose the theme of home because it resonates deeply with our personal experiences as an international group of students. All three of us come from different countries, and therefore we collectively understand the significance of home and how it can transcend physical boundaries. Each of us have felt the distance from home and grappled with the complexities of defining it in a modern globalized world. So we wanted to explore how the concept of home evolves and adapts across cultures, and of course our personal journeys.
We chose Aleksei because obviously his creativity aligns closely with our own ideas about home. His work reflects themes of identity, belonging, and most importantly, the human experience, which strongly resonates with us as individuals and especially as a group, as my colleagues said. And additionally, obviously, the fact that Aleksei here lives in Lisbon, which obviously presented a unique opportunity for us to personally connect with him and gain some insights into his creative process and the perspective on the theme of home.
So initially our idea was to produce a video interview showcasing Aleksei's works and from photos and videos, but however during the discussion with our professor we realized that the meeting with Aleksei in person, given his residence in Lisbon, would offer a valuable opportunity to all of us to engage for deeper engagement and dialogue. Consequently, we shifted our plans to include a personal meeting with Aleksei, allowing us to ask him questions directly. So we are here, and we are ready to answer your questions if you have it.
Yes, I have one question. I saw in different pieces of art that you work with different materials, volumes, and also colors, shapes. You use light and texture for what I saw. You also mentioned that you do outside art, like in the streets. Why is it different to do outside art than inside art? What is the intention, and why is it more relevant for you to do it outside to make a statement? And why does the work with other materials, shapes and colors, light and shadows are important to that work?
So many questions in one
Yeah.
question.
First one is why is it outside art more easy to express the statements that you like to make?
Yes, I started to make street art because it's more easy to express your art to many people in the one moment. This is not long life of your art, but many people can see it, and this is important for me. And I'm choosing the different materials because sometimes for the studio's works, for the interior, I can use only one materials with one specific technologies. For the street, I need to use another because life of the street art not so long, and using the expensive materials, this is useless because someone can broke my art after the 1 hour, and it will be made many trash. And I'm trying to think in what will be afterlife with my art too.
Hi. Since you talk so much about future and how it is going to, our society is going to evolve, I was wondering, how do you see your art evolving? Do you see the medium change, like your genres changing? How do you see your art evolving?
In the future, you mean?
Yeah, in the future.
Actually, when I lived in Portugal, I started to understand where I want to grow and what the general style, what I want to show, and this is very very important for me. Now I understand what I want to grow with urbanistics and made the small architectural form and decorating the face of city. Change the sadness and gray buildings and decorating with my art on the front side, for example. It's will be cool to make maybe after 5 years to grow for that.
Thank you. I have another question. Okay. Do you feel that your art is a form of activism? And if so, when did it start to be? Like, when did you start to feel like your art is a form of activism?
Like activism, it's not so often. You mean activism, political
Yes,
activism?
political. Yeah.
I didn't want to make my art only political activism. It's just a part of my expression, just a part of the things what touch my soul and what about what I want to do.
Okay.
to.
Thank you.
More questions?
Is everybody shy? Georgia, yes.
I was wondering what's your relationship, in a sense, with the artworks, the street works you already done. You like keep track of them, so you know if they are destroyed or if they are still there, or you just made them and then you don't look at them anymore, in a sense.
It's an interesting question. After I start to make the street art, my opinion changing after the few artworks because thank you. Because this is like a mandala from the sense in Buddhism. You made something and after that you give it the life and live it. Life of the art can be change, someone can change your artwork, can write something bad, maybe something funny, and things of your art. Смысл?
Reason.
Meaning of my art can be changing on the street, and this is really life of the art. And long time I'm thinking about how to make the art which will be growing and living his life after me. For example, like the vertical gardens which made on the street of cities, but living sculpture which can grow in after my work is done, and his life, and every time you can look on new art work when the time is going, after month, after 1 year, after 2 years, for example. And in the end, end of our life, it will be free space for a new art and for the new life.
Thank you.
Is there any constant pattern that you use on your artworks? Is there some any same idea that you always have or form that you always try to put on the art that you make?
A constant element, an element that repeats itself.
Like a tree.
A uniqueness about your artwork that is
Yeah.
always there.
If we're talking about something what connected all my art, this is roots, what are connected all, and I want to make I want to make what the world to be understandable for everyone, and be understandable for other people too. Trying to make or explain what the world is common space for everyone, and we're connected between each other more than we think.
Can you tell us about this piece here, please?
It was a spontaneous project. I worked before with the youth center Quadrat in St. Petersburg. My friend artists are working there like a teacher, and he's proposed me to make something for the art festival in this place, and I made the first sketch, and the organizer of this place told me, okay, let's do it. After 2 weeks I made these artworks, and it was a first experience to make the living sculpture from the metal wire and covered concrete, to grow with this tree and care about him too.
That's very interesting. So you say that it's metal with concrete, the structure.
Yes, metal construction
with
covered concrete.
So it gives it a sense of permanence, because
Yes.
to destroy metal and concrete is very, very difficult.
Yes, it's very slim parts, but it's really hard.
Solid.
Yes.
Yes, it's very interesting. Because this aspect that you said, that when you intervene in the urban space and you create street art, I was thinking about the plaster, using plaster on a building. The plaster is easier to destroy and is more perishable, so it can die more
Yes.
easily. Whereas this is more permanent, perhaps not as easy, not as, from afar it looks more delicate. Perhaps if you touch it, it is more solid, more permanent. So I find this interesting, that different materials that you are using also may give them a longer life or not. Did you think about this? Is this intentional?
This is artwork, was a public art. I have the agreement from the owners of this place
Right.
to put here the art, and this is can be for the long life, and I decided to make it more permanent.
Resistant.
Yes.
More permanent, more resistant, yes.
And more resistant, of course. When I making the street art, I'm understanding what the government of this district can be didn't like my art, and someone will be broke it because his boss told him get it away. I didn't want to make the more much problem for the workers, and usually I tried to put my art for the easy remove, for the easy
Removal, yes.
remove, yeah. But when I making the plaster sculpture on the street, also I hope if no one didn't break it, or this artwork will be break it after climate and sun and rain. It's don't be danger for the nature, because plaster it's a natural material, and also I'm using the cotton fabric, which recycling after that. Recyclable materials very important for me for the ecological sphere.
Oh, that's very interesting, yes. Have you had the opportunity to meet Portuguese artists?
I am explore the street art sphere here and find many cool street artists. Before I go in Portugal, I met the artwork Bardal II, and I thinking, wow, art can be made from everything. You can make the artworks from any materials, doesn't matter from what. And artworks, Bardal and other guys which use the recycled materials, it was really inspiration, a really big inspiration for me.
Any more questions? Yes, please.
Yeah, I was wondering if your street art's pursued by the law here in Portugal, especially because, like, and if you ever had a problem with police because of what you do, because I can imagine how it works in Russia, and like I wonder how it works here in Portugal.
Make the art and run away. Because here you can make, I find the GAU, this is a gallery of urban art which connected the government and artists and help them to make the art on the street illegal. This is really cool, but I still didn't use it. I'm scared that answer on my ideas will be really long, and I lost my focus and forgetting to make this art or when I will have a permit. But I'm trying to make the proposal where I can make the new art here with the GAU. But I use from Russia. I use it to make the street art where I want and didn't ask anyone. This is the first rules of street art. You just imagine something, you want to show something on the street or change something or make, you need to do this. Just do this, and didn't get the catcher. But here, government and people and police, I think too, very friendly to street art, and this is really amazing for me.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? I'm going to invite you all to come up and to come and see this art piece up close. Sometimes we feel intimidated, but don't be. I think, can we touch it? This is something that I've always been interested.
Yes, touch it can, but without scratching.
Okay. So, before I close off this session, please join me in thanking Aleksei very, very heartily, welcoming you to Portugal, hoping that you will be very, very happy here, and that you will have only but good experiences in Portugal. So join me, please. So now, if you want to come and see the artwork up close, and if you want to ask Aleksei